Hi, and welcome back to week 3 of Progressive Mobility. This is Jessica, and looking forward to getting started with our workout today. So for today, in your list, in your pamphlet, you noticed we are going to add one piece of equipment. So I have a kettlebell. You can have a kettlebell, dumbbell, a Tide jug, a bottle of bleach. It doesn't matter. Just anything that you can hold behind you in a kneeling position with a nice, easy handle to grip onto. And that will make more sense here in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to grab that real quick or anything. Otherwise, meet me on your back. We don't need any equipment to start. We're going to start right where we did last week. We're just going to kind of flow through where we started with a couple of nice, easy crocodile breaths. So right hand on the navel, left hand on the chest, gently breathing through the nose for a big inhale, feeling that right hand rise, and exhale as you feel the right hand lower. 10 nice, easy breaths to just settle into our practice for today, preparing the body for our mobility work. One more deep breath. Exhale, and we're going to bring those hands down to the side to check in on our lateral expansion. So breathing in through the nose, feeling the rib cage and the waist lengthen sideways. Inhaling, feeling the belly stretch away from the fingertips. And 2 more deep breaths. Good. Staying in this position, hands come down by the side, moving into our pelvic tilts. So we inhale, tuck that tail underneath the body, pulling the belly button to the mat, tailbone to the ceiling, continuing with those nice, easy, deep breaths. Maintaining that nice, strong, braced core through the expansion of the lungs. One more deep breath. Good. Make any adjustments that you might need, relaxing the neck and shoulders, walking the heels just a bit closer towards the body, bracing the core, adding in that pelvic tilt, and moving into our bridges. So exhaling to lift the hips, inhale to lower. Ten total bridges here, just firing up the glutes, lengthening the hip flexors. Getting used to maintaining that pelvic tilt and core activation through our movement here. Two more. Good. Gently lower those hips down. Bring the knees into the chest. A couple of rocks back and forth to bring yourself all the way up to a seated position, nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and grab that band or strap that we've been working with the last couple of weeks. Again, looping the band through the right foot just for a couple of active leg lowering exercises to get that core fired up and open up the posterior chain. Nice and easy, both hands on the strap. Pull that belly button to the mat for a nice easy pelvic tilt. Left heel drives into the mat as we brace the core to lift the right leg. Nice and easy, 2 controlled breaths here. And on that second inhale, gently lowering the right leg down. Keeping that core braced, heel barely taps the mat as we exhale to bring the leg back up. Exhale to lower. Core is still braced. Inhale at the bottom, exhale to lift, moving with the breath. Hopefully, as you've practiced this throughout the week with the homework and worked on that foam rolling, those hamstrings and glutes have continued to open up a bit for you. Exhale to drop the right heel. We'll do one more. Lift. Maybe noticing that you can get the toes a little closer to the body towards the nose. Maybe it's a little easier to keep the knee straight here. Exhale to lower. We're gonna switch feet, so gently bend the knees. We can loop the left foot in or come all the way up to have a seat to use those hands to get that strap switched over. Settle into this new position. Come back to that pelvic tilt. Right heel drives into the mat, gently lifting the left leg. And remember, as we move through here, the strap is just an assistant. It's just a guide to help keep that leg in position. We're using it as little as possible, but as much as necessary. Exhale to lower the left leg. Inhale at the bottom and exhale to lift. Relax. Lift. Relax, keeping that core engaged. Belly button to the mat. Lift one last time. And relax. Bring that left leg down to the mat, nice and controlled. Unwind. Go ahead and come up to have a seat to get rid of that strap. We can set it to the side and trading it for our foam roller here. We're gonna jump into some of that thoracic extension and rotation that we finished with last week, and then we'll get into our progression. So go ahead and come all the way down, getting used to this position, hopefully. Hands behind the head to help you get into that extended T-spine, allowing the head to fall to the mat. Once you're there and comfortable, fingertips point to the ceiling. Exhale to allow those arms to fall open for a nice easy chest stretch. Couple of deep breaths here. On your next exhale, bring those hands back up to meet in the middle, coming back down behind the head, lifting the head slightly, sliding that foam roller one direction or the other, depending on where you started. Hands come back up and allowing them to fall open again. This time our arms are going to stay where they are in that nice open position for an extended pec stretch. 4 deep breaths here. Good. Gently bring the arms back up overhead and then allow them to rest behind the ears, bringing that head up and using the foam roller to either roll up or just rolling from one side to the other. We're going to bring the foam roller in front of the body, coming down to our side lying position, working into that pretzel next. So bringing that bottom hand straight out in front. Again, looking down, finding that perfect straight line. Can't see anything but the tips of the toes. Core is engaged even in this side lying position. Top leg comes up to the foam roller, knee above the hip. Bottom arm grabs that top thigh, gently resting behind the knee. And then that top hand will reach as the bottom foot loops around to the back of the body for a nice easy hip flexor stretch. Again, just like last week, if you need to grab that strap to loop the foot through to give yourself a little assistance if we can't quite reach that foot, no big deal. Bringing the gaze of the eyes up to the ceiling. And with every exhale, allowing the shoulder to fall open onto the mat behind you more and more. Again, this position is getting more and more comfortable each day as we practice this. Finding new ranges and becoming easier to settle into. Maybe the foot has started to fall closer to the ground. 2 more deep breaths. Good, and gently releasing the foot from the hand, bringing that top hand to the mat to use it to press up, and we'll just swing around to the other side. Side lying on the opposite side. Bottom arm, fingertips reach forward. Take a quick look, make sure we can't see anything but the toes. Head relaxes, top knee comes to rest on the foam roller with that whole lower leg. Bottom hand grabs top thigh. Top hand grabs bottom foot. Again, we're becoming more and more familiar with this position. Settle in here, maybe noticing a difference from one side to the other. Eye gaze goes to the ceiling, allowing the chest to roll open and settling into those nice deep breaths. Always making adjustments as needed. The body's starting to adjust already just within these couple of breaths. If we need to release or add tension, make those adjustments as necessary. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Release that bottom foot. Go ahead and come to an unwound position, pressing into the hands and coming into our tabletop next. So this is where we're going to start to add those progressions. We can set the foam roller aside for now. We're going to come into a tabletop. So hands directly underneath shoulders, knees directly underneath hips. If we had a piece of plexiglass in front of our tailbone and our head, we wouldn't be able to move back and forth. So all we're working on here is some rotation. We're staying nice and sturdy through the core. Pull that belly button to the spine just like we worked on against the mat. We're going to take left fingertips rested behind left ear for a little rotational work. So bracing the core, left elbow comes to right wrist, eye gaze goes above the right shoulder, and then exhale to open left elbow towards the ceiling, and inhale to drop. With your own breaths, exhaling to open, creating space in the rib cage and in the thoracic spine. Inhale to relax. Following the elbow with the eye gaze every time to protect the cervical spine. Three more rotations. Last one here on the left side. Neutral and relax. Bring that left hand to plant. Make any adjustments that you might need in the hips if you felt them moving at all. Reset. Pull the crown of the head forward, belly button to the spine, right fingertips behind right ear, dropping elbow to wrist, and rotate. Again, noticing one side is maybe tighter than the other, just making those necessary adjustments, making sure that the hips are still square to the mat as we move through these rotations of just the upper back. Inhale to lower, exhale to rotate. 2 more. As you inhale, set that right hand back down on the mat. Knees come just wider than the hips. We're gonna press the hips straight back to the heels, chest falls to the mat. Walk the hands in to the knees so that our chest is lifted. Left fingertips come back to the ear. So this position is going to be different for everyone. The hips wide may not be the most comfortable for you here. If that's the case, go ahead and just press into the hands and bring them back to a neutral position. Otherwise, coming wide will give you just a little bit of a double whammy here, opening the hips as we add one more rotational move here, whichever feels better for you and your hips and your body. So left fingertips to the ears again. Dropping down. This time we might be able to reach outside of that elbow, giving ourselves just a little extra rotation, and then opening. Adding in, pressing the hips back to the heels gives us just a little bit more stability through that lower back, allowing us to rotate just a little bit further. Still exhaling as we open the chest, pulling the elbow to the sky, and inhale to lower. Just one more, just 4 in this new position. Reaching just a little further into that end range. Relax, bring left hand down, right hand behind the ears. Same thing. Elbow maybe comes just past the wrist, and opening the elbow to the ceiling. Hips stay glued to those heels. And relax, find a neutral spine, set the hands down, and go ahead and come out of that position. So there's some progressions for our thoracic spine mobility. We're gonna go into a little bit of hip flexor work. So go ahead and grab that kettlebell or weight, whatever it is that you have handy. And we're gonna come into what we call a tall kneeling position. So we have 2 positions we'll work in today from our knees. So we'll be tall kneeling here. That just means both knees are down. We have nice strong glutes, pressing the hips forward, chest is nice and proud, and then we'll transition into a half kneeling position. But just a quick overview so you know what those are both referring to. So we'll start in our tall kneeling position. I'll show you this from both angles. We're gonna take that weight and set it behind us in between our legs. From here, we're gonna kind of half squat to find the handles there. Not the prettiest position, but finding the handles of whatever it is that you're grabbing, and then just lifting the weight up off the ground, pulling those shoulders back and down, allowing that weight to kind of pull your chest open, squeezing the glutes so that we're up nice and tall. And then I'm just gonna rotate, show you this from the front view. Nothing too exciting here. So setting that weight behind us, gently using the hips to come back to find the weight. And then we're just up nice and proud with that chest, nice and easy. So from here, in this tall kneeling position, when you look down, knees are directly under the hips. We're not out wide or way narrow, just beneath the hips. And then from here, we're gonna add in just a little bit of rotation. So you may not feel much of a hip flexor stretch here if your hips are flexed at all. Meaning, if your booty is just barely behind your knees, squeeze those glutes, press the hips forward. You should feel just a little bit in the front of the hips. From here, maintaining that tension in the glutes, we're gonna start to rotate just the head. So bringing the head over the left shoulder, and then rotating to the right. Nice, easy rotations. One more rotation each direction. We'll stay in this position. Eye gaze goes straight forward. This time we're gonna add the shoulders. So our hips are engaged, core is engaged, just our shoulders will rotate. So we'll go side to side here. We'll do 10 rotations total. Go ahead and keep moving through there. I'm gonna turn so that you can see this one from the front as well. So again, hips directly above the knees, nice strong core, rotating. My belly button is still pointed right at you, right at the camera, rotating eyes, head, shoulders. Allowing that weight to kind of swing side to side with the body, pulling the chest open as we move through here. We'll go one more each direction. Good. Find neutral. Gently bend the knees and hips to bring that weight back down behind you to release. And this is where we'll find that half kneeling position. So go ahead and slide that weight out of the way for now. We're gonna go right knee down, left foot forward. So we have a nice tall 90-90 with our knees, feet, and hips. So what that means is whenever you look at me in the camera, it looks like an Amazon box could be placed, slid right between my legs here, and slid right on top of me in the back, right? And then from the front, my back foot is directly behind my back knee so that you can't see that in the angle here at all. And then same thing, this top knee points straight out from my hip. Now our tendency here is gonna be for that left hip, to kind of point out. We kind of get lackadaisical. So squeeze that left glute, square the hips up, brace the core. We're up nice and tall from here to find that neutral position. If you can't quite figure out what exactly that feels like for you, our starting point here is to do a couple of hip circles. So just like SpongeBob, hello 90s kids, we are gonna circle around nice and easy, kind of juicing up the hips and find a nice neutral position from there. Rotating the opposite way, so just drawing circles the other direction. So we'll go clockwise and counterclockwise for 5 circles anytime you do this, and find a nice neutral hip. Again, squeezing that down glute, hanging out here for just a second, hands wherever's comfortable, whether that's on the hips, on the front thigh for a little bit of assistance in that balance. We can always be next to a table, chair, couch, wall, anything if you want, just for a little extra stability here. Staying in that position, nice and tall, finding that neutral spine, pulling that tailbone underneath in that pelvic tilt. Crown of the head to the back knee stays in a nice straight line as we gently start to come forward into that front knee. So knee is pointed straight over toe. Couple of things to think about here. We're working on right hip flexor, that down knee, and the front ankle, both at the same time. So what I don't want to see is for that front heel to start to lift. So as we come forward, if that front heel is lifting, we've gone too far. We want to keep that ankle in the picture here. We want to make sure that we're working on some mobility here. So drive that left heel into the ground as you come forward. Again, imagining a straight line from that down knee to the crown of the head. 3 deep breaths here. And release. Press into the front foot to come back up tall. We're gonna walk the foot back towards the body just a little bit. So now our starting position is just behind that 90-degree angle. So our heel is just behind our knee. A little bit more ankle activation here. So again, crown of the head to the back knee is a nice straight line. Glutes and core are engaged. Left heel stays glued to that mat as we come forward. Much more intense in that front ankle than it is in that down hip now. Again, 3 easy breaths here. Good, press into the front foot. Last transition here, we bring the front foot just in front of our 90-degree now. So we're just wider than. This is gonna give us a little extra in that down hip. So again, bracing the core, squeezing that down glute, coming forward with the crown of the head. Our whole body moves as one here. So we're not just leaning forward, we're pressing into that front foot, moving as one. Much more intense now. So we went from a little bit of everything to mostly left ankle, and now we've got mostly right thigh on the stretch. Left glutes and hamstrings are nice and active. You're probably feeling those guys back there firing. Press into that front foot after those 3 breaths, release, and switch. So now left knee goes down. Again, we're in a totally new position. We've already learned that each side is going to feel a little bit different from the other. So repeating those circles, 5 counterclockwise, drawing those nice easy circles with the hips. Find your neutral from there, and then 5 clockwise circles. 4, 5, good. Find that neutral. Squeeze that down glute, make sure those hips are lifted nice and tall. Front heel is right underneath the knee. Again, imagining that we can slide those boxes below and above each leg. Settling into this position, squeeze those glutes, tuck the tail, gently leaning into that front knee. Again, not folding forward, gently leaning. Left hip flexors, right ankle, maybe right inner thigh. Press into the heel to come up after those 3 breaths. Walk the heel back about 2 inches. When we're in our neutral spine, our heel is just behind the knee. Leaning forward into that front knee. Heel stays glued to the ground. Press that heel into the ground. One more deep breath here. Press into that front heel and foot, come back up tall, and then we walk that front foot forward so that the heel is just in front of the knee. Again, check in, squeeze the glutes, brace the core. Those hip flexors are getting a little tired here. Gently leaning into that front knee, moving the emphasis from the ankle, taking the ankle almost completely out of it, coming to that left hip flexor. Shoulders and neck are relaxed. One more deep breath here. And press into that front foot to come back up tall. Go ahead and relax that position. We're gonna grab our kettlebell one more time. This time it'll be right in front of us. Back to that half kneeling position. This time we're gonna bring right knee down, left foot forward. Our left knee and foot are gonna open at about 45 degrees. So we've got straight forward, 90 degrees. We're right in the middle at 45. Go ahead and grab that kettlebell again. We're gonna loop it back behind the body just like we did in that tall kneeling position. And we're gonna add some pulses. So we're squeeze that glute, brace the core, leaning into, again, that knee. So we're going at a bit of an angle, bringing the whole body over the knee, pulsing back and forth this time for 3, 2, 1 more, and we'll hold. Once you're here, we're gonna pulse from here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So just that very end range for these pulses. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up, leaving the kettlebell where it is. Take your time. Switching the knees, left knee goes down, right knee comes out again at that 45-degree angle. Shoulders back and down, nice relaxed neck. Make sure those hips aren't swaying out to the side. Brace the core, squeeze the glutes. And again, leaning into that right knee now for 5, 4, full pulses here. 3, 2, we'll find our end range and hold. And add those small pulses right at the very end. Back and forth, just a real small movement. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press into that foot, come all the way out and release. Go ahead and set that kettlebell back down to the side one more time. We're gonna come back into that tabletop position for our final progression for today. So we start tabletop, we're gonna tuck the toes, lift the knees and hips up off the mat, adjust the hands as necessary out of that tabletop position. From here, we're gonna press into the hands, lift the hips to the ceiling to what we call down dog. Many of you are probably familiar here. Reaching the hips up to the sky. From this position, slowly rolling back through our plank. As we do so, bringing the left foot towards the hands, just outside the hands. It may land outside the mat. It may land way back here. Doesn't matter where it lands. Once you've got that foot planted on the ground, use the hands if necessary, or just kind of wiggle it up so it's about in line with that left shoulder. From here, left foot plants strong, right hand plants strong. We're gonna open left arm for a nice easy rotation. Squeezing the hamstrings and glutes of that right leg, really extending the knee, pressing the knee back away from the mat. 5 deep breaths. One more. Exhale and release. Drop that right hand. Left foot steps back. We stay in this nice high plank. Reach those hips up one more time. Roll back through, and again, as you do so, stepping that right foot forward. Brace the core, lift the hips. Right hand releases for that easy rotation. 5 deep breaths. And release. Hand comes down, left knee can come down as the right foot steps back, and gently just come out of that position. Fantastic. So that is our progression for week 3. You've started to notice that things are rolling and adding on top of each other. We worked on some more thoracic spine rotations and hip flexors, and then at the very end we kind of added it all together. We'll continue to build off of that next week. So homework for this week, keep working on what you've been doing. We've got the foam rolling, the leg drops with the core activation with your strap, those extensions and bretzel positions with your foam roller, and then we're going to add in the quadruped rotations this week. So that is in that tabletop position, fingertips behind the ear, just nice and easy, opening that chest, finding your rotation there. And then we'll find that half kneeling position as well. So coming into the half kneeling and just working on those 3 different foot positions. So foot just a little closer to the body, directly underneath the knee, and then away, adding in those forward leans. That is all we have for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you for week 4.
Hey guys, my name is Bake McBride. I am the Assistant Manager and Group Fitness Director here at Move by BJC. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to join us for this session. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can jump on the website at www.movebybjc.org, or you can give us a call, 314-286-0525. Thanks again.